Assalamu alaikum. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli waj'al li wazira min ahli Haruna akhi ushdud bihi azri washkur fi amri kay nusabbihaka katsira wa naskuraka katsira innaka kunta bina basira. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. اللهم بارك لنا في رجب وشعبان وبلغنا رمضان وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. All right, welcome dear friends. We will continue with our discussion about the understanding the ascension of the Prophet. So we are on the third principle, which is about the wisdom and purpose of the ascension. So last time we did start the example in the first comparison about a king who wanted to display all his qualities, right? His arts, his crafts, everything, so that the observer can look at them. And then we also discussed about the concept of shahid and mashhud, which is from section Al-Buruj. It says by the witness and what is witnessed, wa shahid wa mashhud. So I took some notes before the end of the session last time, based on what I understood. And the example was, if I use my eyes to see what I see, I is also seen, whatever I see is also seen by my creator who sees, and whatever I see and conclude is also witnessed by him, also seen by him. Right. So that was something that I kind of took away, and I was also researching about what shahid wa mashhud. So there were a lot of different variations, but this was the best one I found in terms of understanding this. Unless anybody has any comment on this, we will continue proceeding.
Thank you for the start. I will just add on, I was also pondering over this witnessed and being witnessed part. So because I'm witnessing, but there's a lot happening when I think that I'm witnessing. In reality, I am made to witness. So I'm just extending what you shared, because I think it was an interesting concept as well, because I was trying to understand it from like a coin, two sides of a coin, like you were mentioning shahid and mashhud. So shahid is I think witnessing and witnessed, that which is witnessed and witnessing. And I was paying attention to the language that was used, that is how the creator both witnesses and witnessed. I'm like, hang on a second, I'm the one witnessing here. But so that was an interesting connection to think about. And so, like, we give the example of the ability to see, like you mentioned. So what is happening here is the one who sees and the one who is seen, is the same, right? So that's how it's two sides of the same coin. The one who sees, and the one who's seen is the same. And so when I'm processing this in terms of whoever gave me my ability to see must be able to see himself. And as a result of seeing what I saw, the one who created what we were just going through all that language. I'm not going to get there. But in conclusion, when I see, I witness three things. Number one, the one that makes me see, the one I see, and the one that sees, if that makes any sense. Just wanted to add, but we can, I think, ponder more on this, inshallah.
All right, thank you. Any other comment? Yes, Brother Ali, go ahead.
As an extension to what Feriha said, today also I was reading the notes, Feriha's notes on the Nur ayah, Nur verse of the Quran we discussed on Tuesday. I added there. You can read it from there. Although we didn't mention this during the discussion, it was so detailed, but in the notes I added. Now I have a sense of loving the beauty. And also, there is a beautiful creature, but on the example was pomegranate, how do you pronounce it? I don't know exactly, really, pomegranate or something like that, yeah. And loving the beauty, this is given to me. I am given this sense of loving the beautiful things. On the other hand, the pomegranate is created beautifully. Now, the source of existence, as Feriha said, of the beautiful creation of the pomegranate and loving the beauty, the source of existence of the sense of loving the beauty, if these two of them corresponds to each other, communicates with each other, we see that lover and the beloved are coming from the same source. If I don't disconnect them by saying that to the sense of loving the beauty belongs to me, that is my misunderstanding. In reality, I am just disconnecting these two from each other as far as I am concerned. But in fact, whether I declare that I own the sense of loving the beauty, beautiful things, love of beauty, whether I say it is mine or it belongs to my creator, that is my concern. But in reality, lover of the lover of beauty and beloved, beautiful, beloved one, are being shahid and mashhud to each other. Observer and the one observed with each other. At the existential level, they are coming from the same source. So my human capacities altogether, my spirit, and what my spirit acknowledges in the universe is out there. What do I acknowledge in the universe through using my human capacities? Nothing but the manifestations of the qualities of its creator. What is loving within me is also manifestations of the qualities of my creator. So me and the universe are communicating with each other, and the observer of the universe is who created me with these qualities. The universe is observed, is mashhud, it is observed, is also created by my creator. In fact, I am just here with the free will to acknowledge this communication or not. I'm doing nothing else. Either disconnected or let's work. When I let it communicate with each other, saying that the one who created me with the sense of love, I am communicating with the beautiful things in the universe and acknowledging that both of us are created by God. This nature of universe existence is described in the example that the author mentions in his book. He wanted to observe himself and also wanted others to observe. Not I didn't say right thing. He wanted to observe his manifestation of the qualities manifested in it. He wanted to see, observe it. Yeah, his own eyes, and also uh, look through the gaze of others. This seemingly mysterious language, why does God want to see his own work? He is speaking to me. When I see his own work, I shouldn't own it. I should say that, my creator has given all these qualities to me. It is not my observance. If you like, it is my creator's observance, because he enabled me by manifesting his qualities in my existence. That is, if we understand this reality, rather than this language becomes a bit mind confusing or perplexing, it becomes a means of understanding, realizing the reality of this creation. What is going on between me and what the environment that I am created in is concerned. This communication just tells me that whether I acknowledge it or not, the reality is just we all together, the universe and me, although it seems to be mutually corresponding to each other, but both witnesses that our Creator is the one. No one has an independent existence out of it, out of his will. It's beautiful, beautiful reality to realize, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah khair. Any other thoughts or comments by anyone? Okay, so we can continue. Muawi, are you okay?
What's that?
No, I was asking Muawiya if he's okay also.
Yes, I'm all right. Why?
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Okay, so as a consequence of this wisdom, so continuing on the example basically, that he wants to display wants to open an exhibition. So this example is continuing. As a consequence of this wisdom, the king began to build a huge and splendid palace. It was magnificently divided into apartments and mansions. He adorned it with every sort of bejeweled treasure from his coffers, and decorated it with the finest and most gorgeous arts of his own handiwork. He ordered it with the greatest refinements of his knowledge and science, and decked it out and completed it with the miraculous works of his learning. Next, he spread tables with varieties of bounties and the most delicious of foods, worthy of each group, and prepared a general banquet. Then, in order to display his perfections to his subjects, he invited them to the banquet and to behold the perfections. Then he appointed one of them as the highest ranking general, invited him up from the lower levels and mansions to tour sphere after sphere in the levels rising one after the other. So sphere after sphere in the levels rising one after the other. So progression being made, showing him the successive machinery and workshops of his wonderful art and the storehouses for the produce coming from below. He brought him to his own particular sphere and private apartment. There he honored him through showing him the blessed person who was the source of all those perfections and taking him into his presence. He informed him of the true nature of the palace and of his own perfections. He appointed him as guide to the other spectators and sent him back. He was to describe to the people the palace's maker by means of its contents, inscriptions, and wonders, and inform those who entered the palace of the elusive meanings of the inscriptions within it. What the works of art signified, and what the harmonious and well-proportioned inscriptions and works of art in its interior were, and how they pointed to the perfections and skills of the palace's owner. He was also to teach them the correct behavior and formalities in viewing the exhibition and describe the protocol and ceremonies, which were in accordance with the pleasure and desires of the learned and skillful king, who did not appear. Okay, so these two paragraphs basically are describing in an analogy form about how the king is displaying all these things, which we can relate to the universe as the palace as well. And all the things that we find in the palace or in the universe are his treasure, bejeweled. They are all treasures in a way, all with fine-tuned, gorgeous arts of his own handiwork. Right? So all these refinements that shows his work based on his knowledge, absolute knowledge. Right? So all those bounties, delicious varieties of foods, all sorts of different things that we see displayed in the universe. And there was one who appreciated them the most, highest ranking general, who made the progress from sphere to sphere, from one level to the next, and was shown all these displays. But then in a more elusive meanings, as the author is mentioning, which is what they mean, what they are meant to describe, what they signify, right? What the works of art signify, what the inscriptions and the meanings behind that art is, and what the harmonious and well-proportioned inscriptions and works of art in its interior were. And of course, all these works of art, these inscriptions, what they signify, all point to the perfections and qualities of the owner. The example, the king, as an analogy, the Lord of the universe. And this individual who is appreciating the most is also taught what the correct behavior and formalities in viewing the exhibition is, of how do we read the universe, how do we see the signs in the universe, what the inscriptions are telling us, how do we perceive the whole creation aspect in the universe. And describes the protocol and ceremonies, how do we respond back to that, what we are viewing in terms of the display, what the correct attitude I should have, the protocol that I should follow, and the special ceremonies that I need to participate in that pleases the owner of the universe. So in exactly the same way, and God's is the highest similitude, which means that there is no comparison between the created world and the one who makes the world, the owner, the Lord, the all-glorious maker, who is the monarch of pre-eternity and post-eternity, desired to behold and display his infinite perfections and boundless beauty. So he made this world in such a fashion that every being utters his perfections with numerous tongues. So every being utters his perfections with numerous tongues and points to his beauty with many signs. So every being also points to his beauty with many signs. That is, the universe shows through all its beings the many hidden immaterial treasures in all of his most beautiful names, and the many veiled subtleties in all of his sacred titles. And it shows this in such a way that although since the time of Adam, all sciences together with all of their laws have studied the book of the universe, have studied this book of the universe. This is also a phrase that this author uses quite often, the book of the universe, that it has to be read. Only a tiny proportion of the book's meanings and signs, which state and point to the divine names and perfections, have been read. Only a tiny proportion. So there's much to discover in terms of the qualities, the names of the one who is displaying his art, this universe to us. So any thoughts or comments on these two paragraphs by anyone? Okay, so I will continue. Thus, the wisdom of the all-glorious one of beauty, the all-beauteous one of glory, the maker possessing perfection, who opens the palace of the world as though it was an exhibition in order to see and display his own transcendent beauty and perfections, requires that he should inform someone. It requires that he should inform someone of the meaning of the palace's signs, so that they do not remain vain and without benefit for conscious beings on the earth. His wisdom requires that he should cause one of them to travel in the higher worlds, which are the sources of the wonders in the palace and are the treasuries of their results. So the higher worlds. So what is this higher worlds? The sources of the wonders in the palace and are the treasuries of their results. So the treasuries of their results. So I am supposing that this means who is behind this, what they mean, the sources of the wonders in the palace. So all the qualities that are there that I find in the universe, that he should elevate him above all others. Honor him with his close presence and cause him to tour the worlds of the hereafter. And entrust him with numerous duties, such as teacher to all his servants, herald of the sovereignty of his dominicality. So this is one, herald of the sovereignty of his dominicality, announcer of those things pleasing to himself, and expounder of the signs of the creation of in the palace of the world. That he should mark out his preeminence by conferring on him the decorations of miracles, and should make known through a decree like the Quran that person is the truthful person, personal interpreter of the all-glorious one. All right, I will pause here if anybody wants to say anything so far. So I thought also about how cause him to tour the world of the hereafter. That was interesting also to me. That also I'll let Brother Ali speak. Go ahead, Brother Ali. Brother Ali, you're muted.
Oh. You didn't hear me anything.
Yes, I did not hear anything.
Okay. Several points attracted my attention. I was speaking to myself. Okay. One is all human beings from the very beginning, they are trying to discover what is the reality of this world, and they study. And we understand that, for example, nowadays, maybe late couple of centuries, every discipline developed, many disciplines developed in discovering what the universe, how the universe is functioning, what is going on there. Although they may not accept it, the things are created by definitely they accept that the things are created in certain principles. So rather than questioning whether these principles can be really developed by unconscious matter, or it is they are really manifesting the qualities of the creator, and one of the qualities of the creator is to create everything in an orderly fashion, manifesting his power, demonstrating his power, so that we see in the universe as we say natural, they say, the materialist people say natural sources, forces. All of these terminologies have their own interpretations in it, but we understand that what they are studying and writing down as equations, principles, which are universally valid, they are not wrong principles, but the way they name them is problematic. And we have to question it. But what they represent, the principles of creation, which kind of qualities are demonstrated in the creation, and they found out. These are nothing but the manifestations of the way the things are created, and the creator is manifesting his names, the qualities in it. These are the way the universe is created with these principles. It means universe is created in such an orderly way that we can communicate with it, and we have no problem in communicating with it, because these principles are not changing, because the qualities of the source of existence of this universe do not change. Always the power is the absolute power. It manifests itself at different levels. That's it. The knowledge at different levels, but the same absolute knowledge. Wisdom is the different level, but the same absolute wisdom. We understand that interpretations depends on people's free choice, and we have to take our interpretation and understand, be humble before our reality. We shouldn't be arrogant and say that, look, all my findings in the creation, which are formulated in an universal level, and showing that whatever these principles, wherever these principles are applied or demonstrated, are coming from the same source, because they cannot come from matter. Matter is unconscious. Matter has no sense, senseless matter. So they cannot have choice, they cannot have any knowledge, any power. So that is obvious, but depends on people's references or people's choices. That is one thing that we have to benefit from the findings of the principles of creation by this materialist, maybe not, but scientists, and see that in their findings we see written equations. I will say, okay, this equation is nothing but the way they are created. and demonstrates God's wisdom, God's choice, the Creator's choice. But they may interpret it in another way, none of my business. That is one thing. Another one, you said higher words. What are these higher words are? Now, higher words usually described in the Quran as samawat. Higher words. Did you find it out? The paragraph, it starts with, afterwards, after the following paragraph, and something like 6 line. Yeah, it is here, higher words, yeah. In the Quran, we have to be very careful, and we said that the Quran should not be read, especially apart from this fiqh-related verses, especially Quran, the rest of the Quran cannot be read literally. So this is nothing to do with fiqh problem. So what are the samawat as the Quran uses the word and higher words refers to it? Samawat is usually understood the sky and all the creatures we can simply say galaxies created in the sky are higher words. So, but in the Quranic language, the root of the language is Sama is the ultimate top purpose of one's creation, completionist of one's creation, Sama. Sama of something is the purpose of something. In another word, this you said you really wonder about the hereafter, having a tour of the hereafter. It also akhirah. Sema and akhirah, akhirah means hereafter, really corresponds to each other. The purpose of existence of the things is to demonstrate the qualities of its creator and to help us understand the qualities of its creator. As conscious beings, when I look at the ultimate aim of creation of something, I see sema of that thing. And ultimate purpose of that thing is demonstrated in the qualities manifested in it. And these qualities take me to the purpose of the creation of the things, which means demonstrating the qualities of their creator manifested in their existence. That is Sema. Of course, we have to go to the galaxies and see which kind of qualities manifested there. Azame, Kibriya, Ulwiya of God, Ali, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, all these qualities manifested in the physical world, in the Sema, and also in the sky, and also in the sky of even an atom, existence of an atom. They both really correspond to each other and saying that atom is saying here, in its creation, my creator's knowledge is infinite, power is infinite, organization creating orderly, his orderly creation is infinite, his measurely creation is infinite, wisely creation is infinite, infinite, infinite. And also galaxies say the same thing. The only thing is physical, the difference is physical sizes. Apart from the physical sizes, we can say, look at the galaxies it is Sema. You can say, look at the what the atom is manifesting is Sema also. So we have to understand this, that every creature at every level of its existence, every layer of its existence, most obvious example is baby says, my creator is the perfectly orderly creator. And young boy or girl says, my creator is the perfectly orderly creator, or the creator who is creating everything orderly and wisely and perfectly and purposefully. They declare the same thing. So how about Akhirah, hereafter? How the Creator caused him to tour the worlds of the hereafter. That was your question. I will share my understanding, but this is my understanding. Akhira, again, the same, the ultimate production. For example, if you are doing something, I come to you and say that, Asim, what are you doing? I am trying to solve this programming, for example. And what is this program for? It is for this purpose. Now let's ask the same question. What is going on in this universe? Something is continuously changing. What is the purpose of it? What is the ultimate aim of it? To demonstrate the qualities of its creator, so that we, observers of the universe, will become aware of what is going on in this creation and what they are witnessing to or pointing to. So they are pointing to the absolute qualities of their creator. So when we understand this, where Akhirah is, the hereafter is, as it is introduced in the revelation, as God, the Creator, will manifest his qualities in such a way that human beings may not need to discover after certain investigations that this, whatever they are observing or they are interacting with, is nothing but manifestations of the qualities of its creator. This kind of creation is, in fact, nothing but manifestation of the creator of this universe in another way that human beings don't have to investigate. It will be obviously demonstrated, which is called, as using this very secular language, cause and effect relationship will not be there as a veil, functioning as a veil. The cause directly must manifest. So this result must be obvious that this is nothing but manifestation of the qualities of its creator. That is called hereafter. So ultimate aim of the creation of this universe is to draw our attention and to teach us how the next creation will be realized with this creator, this absolute creator who owns, or who is the owner of all these qualities, who has all these qualities, will manifest itself in another creation. So when you really uncover the veil of this apparent cause, veil of the apparent cause, that this universe continuously being changed in an orderly way, so that all this orderly creation will be so obvious in the eye of the person who really sees the higher words, observes the higher words, then will be able to see the hereafter. Otherwise, if I go there, I will be thinking that this is nothing but the veil. So only the believers who uncover the veil and saying that this is just how it appears to be, not in reality, my spirit will be introduced, or I will use my spirit, utilize my spirit in such a way that it will directly communicate with the manifestations of the qualities. So he will become familiar with the observation of the qualities manifesting themselves. For this spirit, a body will be given appropriately functioning according to the capacity of the spirit, and this word is the hereafter. The prophet is given a tour of an orientation of experiencing the life in the hereafter. If it makes sense. But logically, by looking at the universe, we understand that this is needed for human beings to realize. That is why a miracle of the Ascension, Mi'raj, is told in the narration of the Prophet and also description of the Quran, that he ما زاغ البصر وما رأى ما زاغ البصر ما رأى sorry ما زاغ البصر بصر ما رأى, correct? When I try to remember the verse, ما زاغ البصر
وما طغى.
وما طغى. Yeah, directly observed the reality of the manifestations of the names. Directly observed, never swerved. It means never really had any veil that, I didn't understand this. What is that there? No, directly communicating with it. This is what the spirit is qualified to do. That, of course, we are not fully using the spirit. In the example of Miraj, Prophet was fully practicing the capacity of the universe. That is given to him by the Creator. That's why God caused him to tour the worlds of the hereafter. God took him to travel in the higher worlds. All the agent of these actions are God, not the prophet. We always mention this action. Thank you. ما زاغ البصر وما طغى. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jazakallah khair. That was beautiful explanation. I benefit from it. Alhamdulillah. Okay, any other comments by anyone? Okay, continue. Yeah, so we read this, the higher worlds, and so these are related, the samawat and the akhirah. The purpose of this world is also the akhirah. Okay. Thus, by way of example, so there's a comment from Fariha, we have the potentiality to experience the higher worlds, or the samawat, the ultimate purpose of, yes, of existence. Definitely as much as we can, yes.
And also, that's correct potentiality we have to observe the hereafter. Here, see which kind of creation it can be, this hereafter. Of course, not this physical description of the hereafter in the Quran, the palaces and rivers. No. We are talking about how the absolute qualities are manifesting themselves without the veil of these apparent causes, apparent as if something else is interfering. Seems to be for a negligent eye, it seems to be, but this is just orderly creation, nothing else. When we realize this, inshallah, we can say how beauty in the creation of a flower, for example, without really waiting for the climate and season, beauty is always beauty, manifesting itself in winter conditions in another form, in fall conditions in another form, and spring condition in another form. But in the winter, the beauty shows, or let's say, example, just an simple example, in the snowflakes, in spring, in the leaves of the flower. But the same beauty, or same symmetry, same orderliness, same measureliness, wisdom, wisely creation, the same, but different forms.
Alhamdulillah. So in the example of the first example you gave about the pomegranate, the beauty and the mercy and provision, the balance, directly kind of experiencing that. Alhamdulillah. Okay. So thus, by way of example, we have demonstrated through the telescope of this comparison one or two of many instances of wisdom in the Ascension. Others may be thought of in the same way. All right, we have a few minutes, so maybe I can start the second comparison unless somebody wants to make a comment.
Just wanted to reflect a little further on what was shared in terms of how the qualities are manifested here. So we're talking about beauty, but it's just depending on how it's manifested in different shapes and forms. So the existence of beauty is always there. And I think this goes back to what we spoke about, I think a few weeks back, that just the creator of the pomegranate really need a tree to present me with such mercy. I think speaking about the absoluteness of this source of existence, I mean, it makes the case clear in terms of, first of all, what type of lenses am I wearing to view the world, and how things are, they're just manifested. It's just somebody putting fruits in a tray, and the conscious observer like really acknowledging a communication with the source of their existence. I think this was profound, the whole part about how definitely we see flowers blooming during springtime, and it doesn't mean that there's no beauty in a garden during winter time. No, it's there, but it's just manifested in different forms. So if you're walking in a garden during winter time, yes, you may not see something that's flourishing, but perhaps you may just come across a squirrel, which sometimes they're fun to watch, and that's also a display or manifestation of beautiful qualities, exciting qualities, something we enjoy. Yeah, just wanted to share this. Thanks.
Alhamdulillah, thank you. All right, I think we can stop here then for today, inshallah, and then we'll start the second comparison next week, inshallah. Any other thoughts, final comments? Yes, Brother Ali.
Last comment about this word is the truthful, personal interpreter of the all glorious one, the last one, the Quran. Yes, there. The Quran, that person is the truthful, personal interpreter of the all glorious one. This original word of interpreter may be misunderstood. How? Interpreter has two meanings in English. One is translator, tercüme. The other one is te'wilat, te'wil. Te'wil is what we understand. According to my understanding, I am, how do you say, getting the idea and putting it through my own understanding and transferring it to you through my own understanding. But in another way, that the truthful person interprets the God's creation through the Quran, that means tercüme. It means the same meaning in, example, English expressed in Arabic, but without going through my, if you like, screen or not screen.
Without any censorship.
Filter or something.
Sorry?
Filter?
Filter, yeah. Thank you. That's the word. Without going my filtering, it means some of them passes, some of them remains. No, the Prophet and the Quran. Now, Quran directly expresses it in human language, absolute qualities. Universe directly expresses it in physical demonstration. It is not really in English interpretation. It is transformation into another language. The Prophet does the same thing. He receives the message, transfers it into human action, doesn't interpret it. That makes a lot of difference, because when I read the Quran and when I tell what I understood is interpretation, my interpretation. Whereas when the Quran informs us what the creation of the universe is declaring, is not interpreting. It is transferring the same meaning into human language. One of them is action-wise speech, demonstration of the qualities. The other one is verbal explanation or the demonstration of the qualities. When I look at the universe, if I say, you know, this means to me, this is my interpretation. When prophet says, this means this is transformation. Why? Prophet doesn't interpret, transforms it. But when he is asked, what should I do from it? It explains the human beings. So the other human beings, all the ones who question it. Otherwise, the prophet did not really explain the Quran in order to explain it to people. No, when they asked, when the occasion happened, he just recited the verse of the Quran, and the companions understood that, in this condition, this means of the meaning of this verse is what we understood from it. Understanding of the companions are interpretations, but recitation of the prophet is transformation of the meaning into a physical example. Through a physical example, what happened? That is what we read as tafsir, explanation of the verses of the Quran narrated in hadith narrations. We have to understand the difference between human narration and the prophetic explanation. The nature-wise, they are different. Thank you.
Thank you for this important clarification. I loved it.
Alhamdulillah, makes sense. And I think that's why it's known that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was known as the walking Quran. So it does make sense in terms of just transferring or displaying the message or the speech of the Creator as it is. Makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we will stop here. So we'll continue with the second comparison next time. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin bi hurmati suratul Fatiha.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you everyone. Assalamu alaikum.